As we return from the newest ship of the worst rated cruise line, I am genuinely surprised by what I found. Good things and bad things. This is going to be my initial review of it, so it's going to be a little more unfiltered and not edited like some other videos. This is my initial thought. I will do an in-depth review video going through all the details later, but for now, I have a few rough drafts of notes right here. Just let's get it started. Obviously, it shocked me in many different ways. And initially, I thought this was going to be not so good of a cruise since I've been to other cruise lines. Like their Paradise is a good ship, but it's something that if you already been on a cruise before, I'll probably recommend for someone who's been on a cruise before. The Islander, night and day difference between the cruise lines. It blew me away, and in some ways, I'm shocked to say this is on par with Carnival or even exceeds Carnival in certain areas. So I'll kind of go through a few of those initially. Is one of them is the entertainment. I was absolutely blown away by their entertainment on this ship. I mean, the production shows are pretty good quality, on par with Carnival, something you would see on a Carnival cruise line. So this was shocking to me, and I'm glad they revamped all these shows. They delivered, and they're making some big moves. For example, their dancing shows, their stages move around, which I know is not that big of a deal, but when you're on a cruise ship that's like 30 years old, it is pretty old at this point, maybe not that much older. I'm really glad they revamped their shows. So like the Conky Talk and the Rock the Tropics, these were amazing shows. I loved it. On par of what you see with Carnival, they had stage moving around, they had a bunch of special effects. And a month before this, I got off the Carnival Jubilee, and the Carnival Jubilee has some amazing entertainment, but some of these singers couldn't really sing when they perform. I mean, it's very hard what they do to sing, perform, dance, do all these things. But Margaritaville, compared to the Jubilee that I just got off of, exceeded that expectation, which is very shocking to me. And really, they had a variety show at the beginning of the cruise, so that way you get a taste of what kind of shows they offer, what it's going to be like, and what you want to see. To me, that was one of my favorite parts of it. The variety show had a little bit of singing in there, a little bit of dancing, had a magic show, had a comedian, had some acrobats. So you got a taste of everything they had to offer for a few minutes at a time. Each section is like 10, 15 minutes, something like that. Then you move to the next act there. But then you knew, okay, I really like those acrobats. I want to come back and see their specific show later. Ooh, I like those dancers. I definitely want to come back and see them later. So, I mean, I love that variety show to give you a taste of what you want to see in the cruise. And they did not disappoint. It was amazing. The game shows on Margaritaville, well, compared to things like Carnival and some of the other cruise lines, they're still getting that together. Remember, this is currently their second cruise ship that they have, and they're still working out a lot of kinks. It is an older ship, so definitely keep that in mind. It's by no means perfect. I may be talking up in some areas, but again, older cruise line is still not perfect. They're getting things together. I know in game shows, prizes are really not that big of a deal, but Carnival typically tries to get some kind of prizes for those who participate. Sometimes they win prizes, sometimes participation prizes. And Margaritaville, there was none of that, but it was so much fun. Everyone got involved. The kind of one things I liked into Carnival, the people on this ship were just amazing, there to have fun, have a good time. It was an amazing vibe. And even though Margaritaville is more of a relaxing cruise during the day, they know how to get party on at night. Their nightclub, personally, two-story nightclub is better than what Carnival has on there. And it was popping at night. Just like any other nightclub, the first 5-10 minutes is a little slow as people get off from other shows or parts of shit, goes to the nightclub. But I mean, it was amazing. So definitely, they knew how to party. They had some line dances on some of their other parties there, the nightclub, and some of the theme parties. It was actual music. It wasn't much of a, hey, let me teach you how to dance at this club and let's dance, or at the deck party, hey, let me teach you some moves and dance. No, everyone got there to just shake their thing. It was a lot of fun. And of course, the food was amazing. And I'm really hesitant to say this, but again, you're going to have to let me finish this sentence to kind of really take it in. But in some ways, their burgers are better than Guy's burgers. And what I mean by that is if you take just the burger, like the meat, the bun, the cheese, one for one compared to Guy's burgers, knocks it out at the park all day long. When you actually go into the actual some of the toppings that you could get on Guy's burgers, whether it be bacon, chili, onion rings, etc., Guy's burgers takes it from there. But when it comes to patties, it's seasoned and cooked beautifully, and their fries are flavored beautifully as well. These are actually homemade patties, which their old ship, the Paradise does not have homemade patties. They're more of a lunchroom style. So, I mean, they're stepping up their game all day long. And their free pizza option, the Frank and Lola's Pizza, I would say yes, it's better than Power Pizza on Carnival. It is something that amazes me. And this cruise typically is a better price point than a Carnival cruise. You go in there for cheaper than you can on a Carnival. So at this point, you're thinking, oh, Miss Food's better than Carnival. And again, in some ways, yes, it was. Some it wasn't. I'm hopefully not turning this too much to a compared to Carnival cruise review video, but I mean, that's kind of the nearest competitor in my opinion. But their buffet, it was lacking. It's probably the smallest buffet I've ever seen on every cruise, but it's good for a quick bite to eat. I only ate there once or twice for a snack, and it was just Finn's, which is their main dining room area, it was pretty good. You do have limited options, and you are limited to one entree. So that part was a little disappointing. If you order a second entree, it's additional $7 charge. But that only applies to your entree, does not apply to your appetizer or dessert. So you have unlimited appetizer desserts, which their pina colada lush was delicious. It's more of a sponge cake, so soft in the middle, and I loved it. So the main dining experience was very good. Their Islander dining room, which is kind of their more elevated version of the main dining area, to me, wasn't really worth. It's an extra $20 to go up there and eat off of that menu. But you get the same menu as you do on the Finn's dining room, as you do on the Islander dining room, except you get like a few more options of plates to eat. And I'll have a picture up here to kind of see what the difference is. Honestly, to me, wasn't worth the extra $20. Maybe if you want to know waits, because the dining room does have a first come, first serve. And actually the only night I had to wait to get into the main dining room was one of the 5-night cruise. So I mean, typically you're probably not going to wait, but it's possible. They also had Island Eats, where I had a few other additional meals. You could go out and have the adults only area, and it was delicious, but it is paid and not included. So this is something that if you want to make your experience better, they have some good lobster rolls. And if you don't want to spend extra money, you don't have to worry about this. You're not missing out too much there, because I mean, I like to cruise on it cheap if possible. When speaking of adults only area, their adults only area, it's nice in the sense that you are, again, adults only allowed in that area, which is great. However, their pool area is lacking. This is a very old ship. The pool is tiny. So really, you only got to swim in there, I think, one time comfortably. And that was because we got back on the ship pretty quickly after we took Key West. We did a few things that we wanted to do in the Keys. Then we're back on the ship like 2 hours early, and we had the whole adults only area by to ourselves for an entire hour, which was nice. So in this sense, I would say this adults only area needs a bigger pool, but it is a used ship that they bought. So I mean, nothing they can do about that. They're working with what they have. So I guess I can't give them too much grief about that. But the bar in that area was great. All of their bars had fantastic service, very friendly staff. I met one of the best bartenders I've had on any cruise line here on this ship in the flip-flop bar. So I mean, just enjoy the experience. They do have a wide variety of drinks, and the drinks are more the pricier side, from $12 to $15. And the staff on this cruise ship are very friendly. So it means a lot of good things about this cruise. But remember, it is an old ship. It is refurbished. It is decades old. And you can kind of see that in some areas of the ship. You see a little rust here and there. My AC went out on day 2 of the cruise. So I woke up at 5 a.m. and I was sweating up a storm, and it was like a sauna in my stateroom. So that was pretty scary in itself. But I went to guest services, let them know that, hey, my AC is not working. And by the time I got to my room, I had to wait maybe 2 minutes, if that, for someone to come knock on my door, check out my AC. They got it fixed right away. And then bam, I had no other issues in regards of that. The embarkation process, getting on the ship, was smooth. So that was nice. You actually go check in at the port, and they give you your key card right then and there, which is very nice. And I was on the ship shortly after that. Getting off the ship was a little bit of a hassle. They're still getting their stuff together. I was on the 5th sailing of the Islander, so they're still working out the kinks, because I had priority embarkation debarkation, which means I was one of the first people off the ship. And somehow people without priority embarkation got off the ship before I did. And not just by a few minutes, and not saying we got off at the same time. I was literally in the area that they told us to wait at for about 40 minutes past the time that we're supposed to be able to leave the ship, which I know sometimes out of their control. But then I had someone in front of me say, hey, their daughter got off the ship already, and we're still here waiting to be told that we could actually leave and get off the ship. And even then, it still took them another 20 minutes after finding out about that for us to actually start making our way off the ship. So by the end of all of that, someone got off the ship almost an hour before we did, and they did not have priority disembarkation. We did. So, I mean, a little bit of kinks in there. But overall, it was a great cruise. So, I mean, I'm going to have an in-depth review of everything in detail coming soon with more details on Margaritaville Islander as well as other cruise lines as well. See y'all next time.